Hi again then guys, and welcome to another straight line speed build with a little bit of handling thrown in there as well for good measure for Horizon 3. And this particular tune is for a widely loved car, and that's basically an understatement. People go crazy for this car, the McLaren P1. It's not hard to see why. It had a lot to live up to. Probably the most iconic and most respected supercar ever made, the McLaren F1, and I think it pretty much did that job. It's much more technically advanced in terms of electronics than the F1 was, but retains that spirit of being as good as McLaren could make it, basically. And from that point of view, I have a lot of respect for it. I think from a design point of view and for the passion of driving the car, of the look of the car, I personally prefer the LaFerrari. But in terms of ability, I think I'd have to give the edge to the McLaren. It feels a little bit more taut, a little bit more focused, and if anything, a little bit more like a race car for the road. Now, whether or not you prefer that is another thing entirely. Personally, I think I would choose passion over pure ability. That's why I consider the best supercar ever made to be the Pagani Zonda, because it's pure passion. So in that regard, I prefer the LaFerrari. But if you like technical cars, something more like a Nissan GTR, which just dominates, you'll probably like the McLaren as well. Now, as far as the tuning on this particular car, it's always going to be quick, but with a car like this, especially those newer kind of hybrid supercars, or hypercars, or megacars, you can never really know just how quick they're going to be, especially compared to, say, Forza 6, where the top speeds on them, the LaFerrari in particular, wasn't that great. The top speed wasn't that impressive. Now, though, they're a lot more impressive, in particular with this car. Now, I would recommend all-wheel drive. Some people may not like that. Of course, that's down to personal preference. As far as the rest, I would recommend making a fair few changes, of course. Increase the power, lower the weight. Now, for this particular tune, as you can see, it's sitting at S2998. You can easily bump this car up to the X class. And the reason why I've got it on S2998 is because of a particular type of wheel. Now, I can't recall what those rims are called, and if you want the tune, you can get it from my storefront. Apart from that, though, of course, I'll show you all the rest. For X-Class, just fit better rims. It's basically as simple as that. I think the tyres may be a slightly different width as well to adjust it, etc. Now, as far as the tuning on this particular car, the numbers are very good. 3.5 to 100 is almost Koenigsegg territory. 1.7 to 60 can easily rival pretty much anything else in the game. And flat out, that top speed is so good, especially for its power, because you're running nowhere near the power of the Aventador engine conversion vehicles that it goes up against. So 271 is very impressive. Now, as far as the gearbox, I would recommend 3.2 on the final drive, then 2.9, 2, 1.5, 1.18, 0.94, and 0.75. For the alignment, I've gone neutral, as I always do. Feel free to change it, though, if you do feel the need. Neutral camber, neutral toe, caster on 1 degree for manoeuvrability in particular. Anti-roll we've rounded off to 25, front and rear. Springs on 145, 248, and the lowest ride height. Dampers on 11, 17, 5, and 8. Aero doesn't apply, although you do, of course, have the rear wing. And as far as the diff, I would recommend 100% on acceleration, 0 on deceleration, and a very specific 79% split in favour of the rear. That keeps the benchmark numbers nice and high, and also gives you the full benefit of that bit of extra traction, power, etc. going to the front to get you off the line quicker, to help you off-road, but also very much so allows you to keep the benefits of a more rear-wheel drive style car with that kind of manoeuvrability, the kind of high-speed handling advantage in particular, and also just more playfulness, more tail happiness, more drift happiness. So it's the best of both worlds, basically. So if you decide to get this from my storefront, and I do have a couple of different versions of it there, you can use the keywords, as always, in the video description to find it easily. Or, if you decide to use some variation of this tune, either way, I hope you have a lot of fun with it. So, if you would like to keep up with other tunes for Horizon and other Forza games as well, you can of course sub down below or check out the playlist at the end of this video. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.